All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the open house of Infocus Film School. Thank you guys all for coming. We're actually going to be doing a live stream at this at the same time. So I'm going to kind of go back and forth between you guys watching us live and everybody here in person, stuff like that. So thank you guys all for coming today. Whether you're coming here for the film production program, the game design program, the graphic design program, 3D animation, you name it. I'm actually a recovering shy guy myself. My documentary back here, way back, I was actually alumni here back in 2014. My film was about being shy, right? And now here I am in front of a camera, in front of you guys. My heart's going like this. I'm like, no, let's do it. Let's go for it. So film school and any kind of like art related stuff like that too is a big growing experience, right? It's something that really means more than just learning something. It's discovering yourself as a person, right? It's discovering your creative art, your output, right? We only live in this world once, kind of thing like that. Why don't you share something a little bit about yourself, kind of thing like that? Put it out there, right? So hopefully we can give you the tools to be able to learn how you can put it out there. How do you take those ideas in your head and you bring them out onto the screen, right? Or printed, depending. If you're graphic design, lots of printed stuff. So I would like to do a couple things today here during this open house. I want to introduce you guys to some of our lead instructors, our admissions advisors, to be able to talk about the programs that we have here at Infocus. For everybody who's online that's joining us, feel free to throw any questions you may have into the chat box, and hopefully we'll have time to go through all of them. That goes the same for everybody else here. If you have any questions, please raise your hands, right? There is no stupid questions in film school. We're here to learn, right? Whether you're here just for the open house or here for the actual course, that's what we're here for, right? So I want to start it off here with a couple of our great lead instructors here. We have David and Chris. Please come on up, introduce yourselves. We're going to talk about the film production program.
Okay.
And as a good cinematographer, he's grabbing the camera.
All right.
It's all you.
Me first. Okay. Hello. My name is David Michan. I'm the lead instructor here at Infocus, and I'm teach film directing.
I'm Chris, and I teach cinematography. I'm the lead cinematography instructor here. And I mostly specialize in narrative storytelling as well. So yeah, that's what I teach here.
Oops. You disconnect something
I
there.
disconnected something there. Great. So I got a couple questions that we have beforehand, something like that too. And DJ, if you have any questions that come up from there. And if anybody has any questions that we're going through, please raise your hand. I want to hear from you guys. So one of our first questions for you guys here is, what does a typical week look like in the film production program?
A lot of coffee, I think. I think a typical week for us, it is a very different. You know, there's a lot of hands-on practical stuff, but at the same time, it's mixed with analyzing films and studying, some great films and some not so great films. You know, like it's always good to study what went wrong, and I think we believe in that, to like constantly review your own work and analyze what you could have done better. And you know, everybody reaches a point where like it's all subjective, right? So and then from a cinematography point of view, there's a lot of aspects like camera, lighting, gripping. That's a completely different world. So there's a lot that goes on, and it goes by really fast. But yeah, we all have fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to think it's like something that you will be living for the rest of your 1 year, 9 to 5, from Monday to Friday, right? And I mean, it's an intense program, but it's a lot of fun because there's a lot of hands-on training, as Chris was saying, right? We learn a lot about lectures, but also we have a lot of practical assignments. Actually, we have like 12.
Mostly practical.
Yeah, most of the Chris classes are more practical. Most of my classes in the beginning are more lectures, right? Lecture-based. But as he was saying, we learn and we watch a lot of projects. We see a lot of films, and most of the time what we're trying to do here, it's like everybody gets to the same level, right? Because we have students that come from different backgrounds, right? Some of them has already have some experience in film, others don't have that much. So what we try is to pair them, everyone, to have the same at the end.
Awesome. Now, just a real raise of hands just over here for a moment. How many people here are here interested in the film production program? A raise of hands. Cool. Got a couple in that case. How many people actually don't even really know? They're just kind of figuring out, I could be any of these programs. Okay, well, we got some people very dedicated. Oh, Vanya. Great. So if you have anybody questions here about film production program stuff? Anything at all? All right, I'm sure more stuff will come up. The next question I have here for you guys is, how much hands-on production experience do you get in the film program?
I think it's mostly hands-on. I mean, at least we believe in it. We both, and I think all the instructors are working professionals. So we're not just full-time teachers. We're actually most of the time on set, and we try to bring that back. You know, like I'm learning new things myself on set every day, and it's fun to bring it back and like teach my students that. So it's really hands-on because too much theory can get confusing and can get boring really fast. So we try to find the right balance of that. From a cinematography point of view, I think it's really practical. It has to be practical because there's a lot of hands-on aspect to it.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, cinematography wise, it makes sense that it's more practical because most of the things that you need to see, right? I mean, at the end, what you are always watching is how the lights produce certain effects, right? How the lenses work, right? And that's the only way to learn that is to see it.
Yeah.
But with directing, there's also one part that is very important, that is the lecture part, right?
Yeah.
And this is why it's important, because we need to analyze things, right? I know that the fun part, everybody wants just to run to the set and start directing actors and start directing and having fun with the camera and everything. But the thing is that if you don't know what you're gonna be doing on set and you're not prepared to be on set, it's gonna be painful for anyone. That's why it's always very important that you know what you are gonna be doing. And that's where my students always like will remember me for, it's like script analysis, right? Because I go blocking and script analysis, because that's the basics when you starting, right? If you understand those two things, you can manage a set and you can have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it's just like Chris was saying, we need to find a right balance between the practical and the lectures here at school.
I'm going to bring it back to you guys one last time. And I'm going to say, it is the hardest thing to be the first person to ask a question because you're the one putting yourself out there and stuff like that too. Be the one who steps up, because I can tell you right now, a lot of people probably have the same question that's in your mind. You're thinking, how am I going to state that question? What it's going to sound like? Be the person to break the ice, right? I challenge. Who will be the one to do it, right? So I'm going to ask one more question. Do you guys think about it? Think what your question could be for these guys. So my question for you guys, while they're thinking about their question here, what qualities do you look for in a strong applicant for the film program?
Mm. You?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think curiosity, it's easy for me. Like, as long as you're curious and you want to learn, then the world's your oyster. I strongly believe in that. I think film, by its nature, has a reputation of being a bit bourgeois and snobby, and you know, it's like it's considered, it's like, you know, you need a lot of money to make films, but we're breaking barriers. A lot of filmmakers are making films for like $20,000 or $5,000. I have a student who made a feature. We have a student who made a feature for $1,000, and just sent me the link the other day, and it's possible, you know, and like I strongly believe everybody has in it to make films.
Yeah.
If they're curious. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say curious and passion too. I would add passion, a lot of passion. And this is something that you need to understand, that if you have passion for something, you will be unstoppable, right? Because at the end, what moves you is that burn that you have inside of you to tell stories, right? So we have had many students that have come with no knowledge of film, none. But they have a lot of passion and they have a lot of love for telling stories. And I have graduated from here with great films and actually with very good succeed in their careers. So what I will say is, like, if you're thinking that you need to come to film school and you're stopping or not coming because you don't think that you have the skills or you don't have the knowledge, that's a mistake, right? I think what you need to understand is if you have that passion to spend 1 year here and put all your effort and energy into what you want, you will get it. And that's a guarantee because I have seen it, you know?
Awesome. All right, anybody have any questions over here? Because we guys got saved by the bell. Someone asked a question from our online stuff. One of the questions here was, when you pass through this program, can you become a film director?
Yes, of course. I mean, you can become whatever you want, you know? I think you can become a film director finishing this. And this is something that James Cameron used to say, you know? He used to say, you are a film director when you decide that you want to be a film director, right? You're a film director since the moment that you pick up a camera and start telling stories, right? So you can become a film director. But the thing is that you need to learn. You need to get the skills in order to make great films, right? Anybody right now can make a film, right? They can pick up a phone, make a film, put it in YouTube, and maybe they have 1 million viewers, right? But the whole thing is about how you're gonna do that narrative, how you're gonna put that camera, and how you're gonna direct those actors, right? Because as I said, now that you have all the means to do whatever you want, it's easy to, but you have a responsibility being a director, you know? And as Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
It's the same with directors, you know?
Do you guys know Sean Baker?
Yeah.
Anyone knows Sean Baker? Has anyone seen Anora? So Anora, it was nominated for the Oscars, a lot of Oscars last year. He made his first film on an iPhone, iPhone 6 to be precise, when it wasn't even that great.
Yeah.
You know, Tangerine, and it was a great film. It was accepted in a lot of film festivals, and it did well. And you hear from them, and you listen to the grit, and then the nonstop grit. I mean, I'd be lying if I say it's easy work. It's not. You know, it's a lot of hard work, and you need grit. And if you have grit, doors open always.
Yeah.
Got a comment from one of our alumni on there, not Rippo, I guess.
Oh yeah.
joining?
Yeah, he's
No,
joining.
block him,
He said,
block him.
can I have you guys as teachers again?
Richie.
He wants.
Yeah.
What did he say?
He said, can I have these two teachers again?
Yeah.
Oh, do we have another question here? I can't read it. Do you mind saying it?
Yeah, the question is, are the remote learning classes recorded, or are we required to be on between 9 p.m. and midnight?
Oh,
That would be for a different program. This is the film production program, but we will hold on to that question. Maybe you could ask like which program are you interested in?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Any other questions here? Yes, thank
Yeah,
you. Break
finally.
the ice. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question for directing. When you finish a directing program here and you want to go off and make your own films as a director, would you recommend working your way up through something like the Directors Guild of Canada, or do you think it's better to create a community with people, pool together resources for your own independent films and make progress and establish a reputation through that instead?
Well, it's like, because there's many different paths that you can follow to achieve that, right? I mean, there's people that like to start from the very ground, that will be starting up as a PA, right, on sets, and they follow all the stairs until they get to directing, right? And that can be a very long way, right? And there's no guarantees in that. But I have other students that they have skipped that, and they have been like, you know what, I'm not planning to do PA. And they just jump directly out from school to put their own production company with friends, and they start shooting. And actually, it's Jack here around. I mean, one of my students here is just like, they have already shot like 10 projects, different projects between them. Like the cohort itself, they put a production company, and they're shooting every week or every month. They're shooting different projects, music videos, commercials. You know, also Andre, that he has his own production company. He has never worked as a PA in a set, and he has been also following his own path, right? So it all depends about like what you want to follow and how much money you want to make, right? Because it could be that you're making these small projects that you don't make that much money, but it gives you a lot of skills, and it gives you a lot of real, right? A lot to put together.
And creative freedom, yeah.
And creative freedom, right? Or you can go and learn from the big ones, like go to sets and be a PA and learn from big directors, you know? When I started, I went to sets, and I was a PA, but I was very lucky that I was able to work and listen to directors that they were huge at the moment, and I learned from that. So it depends what is your plan.
And would you say that the information you learned listening and working on film sets, listening to directors, would you say that really helped you and how it carried into your own projects that you were creating?
Definitely.
And it helped give you an edge?
Definitely, but you need to be aware that it's not only being on set, right? I remember I was with a lot of PAs, and most of them, they were hiding because they didn't want to work. They were like, oh, I don't want the AD to see me because they're going to ask me things. So they were like sleeping in the van or trying to. And for me, I was like right there waiting for them to ask me, but I was able to be very close to the director. So for instance, they will say, okay, can you help us with the cable to rig the cable from the camera to the video assist? I was like, I'm happy to do that. Why? Because I can be between the DOP and I can be between the director, and I was listening everything. So I was absorbing everything that they were saying. So that's what I'm saying. It's just like, if you're gonna be in certain places, you need to be smart about it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you.
Any last questions for these two? Yes.
You mentioned something about being a bourgeois industry.
Yeah.
Do you think we are able to hold a full-time job while doing this course at all?
While you're studying here, I have to be very honest. In the beginning, it is possible, but it becomes harder and harder. There are students who do work weekends, and because the school is Monday to Friday. But then the problem is when you start doing your films, the shoots might happen on the weekends, right? So it does get tricky. It depends how flexible your workplace is, I would say. There are students who work throughout the whole thing, but I can't speak for everyone because it depends on the workplace that you have.
So probably not.
Yeah, it is intensive. Yeah, it is intensive. Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Cool. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Oh, no,
so
there was one question.
Oh, there was?
Yeah.
What would you say is important for managing stress? Because
I think I have I might be able to talk about that a bit because I have struggled with that. And I think the first day I walked onto set and I said, I'm stressed as hell and I'm anxious. That kind of like helped a lot, just like telling people I trust that this is all too much, kind of like made it easier. And then just practice. Then it's just like being stressed for 15 years. Kind of, I don't know if I'm stressed or not anymore, but like you tend to manage it. Right?
Yeah, it's more about learning the skills. And one of the things to manage stress is when you're on set, be prepared. And be prepared when you're prepared you have plan A, a plan B, and plan C, then you can enjoy it. And that's what I always said. Whatever you think that can go wrong, it's gonna go wrong, right? Because we work with people and people make mistakes. And they're so big crews and you're depending on humans, right? So at the end, there's a lot of factors. You have weather factors, you have the location, you have the actors, you have your crew, money. There's like many things that will happen on set. But if you already know that these things can happen, you're always gonna be ahead of the game. Yeah. So what happened is like, okay, that something can go wrong, you're ready for that. And then you just like go with your plan B. Yeah. And if plan B doesn't happen, then you go with plan C. Yeah. And that way you manage your stress.
And all of this becomes a lot easier when you find your tribe,
Mm-hmm.
Like I work with same directors again and again. And like, some directors I work with once and I'm like, oh, maybe I don't fit well, it's sometimes not even about your skills. It's just how you talk to the other person. And, like you just find your own people and you find a comfortable spot in the industry. And I believe there's a spot for everybody. So,
yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming up. And just so you guys know, you can continue to ask these guys questions while you guys are out here. I'm cutting you off. So, no, you get out of here. We're done with you.
Me too.
Yeah, no, so you guys can come find these guys outside. You'll see the lighting setup and stuff like that too. So you guys kind of see what a film set generally looks like and stuff like that. Pick these guys' brains while you're here, right? They're experts in their fields. They know what's going on. So any questions you have for them, now's the time. Cool? Awesome, thank you. Actually, you were done too. You're good. Thank you so much. All right, next we're going to talk about the graphic design program. So I'd like to invite Vanya and Katina. Are you guys over there? Yep. and come on up and introduce yourselves.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'm Vanya. I'm the admissions advisor here at Infocus.
My name is Katina, and I am a former alumni, current employee of the school for graphic design.
And could you move just a little bit this way? There's two.
Oh,
we have a little-
Thank you for that.
Very film.
Awesome. So Katina, I know Lorraine's not here for us today and stuff like that, who's the lead instructor, but you're going to give us some information on the graphic design program. So could you introduce like who you are in the school, kind of thing like that, and then a bit about the graphic design program?
Well, right now I work a little bit on admin for the school, but I took the graphic design program some time ago. So as Troy said, if you heard the name Lorraine, you're like, who is that? That's the lead instructor for the graphic design program at this moment. She's online, she couldn't join. So I'm now talking about the program. And that's a bit about me. I don't know what else about the program I can say about we get started.
So tell us a little bit about the program. What are some of the projects?
So the graphic design program here is completely online. It's 6 months and it's on the evenings. So you can kind of have a full-time job at the time and take the program if you're looking for a career change. It's, I'm not gonna lie, intense. You do a lot of different projects, just like how you would find in the market. You would do from books, brochures, redesign for events like, I don't know, some talk on the Pacific Center and you have to do the banners, swag, t-shirts, all that kind of stuff. You get into logos, how to brand, how to do a book, how to do magazines. You get into, there's a lot of different projects. So it's a lot of, you get to dip your toe a little bit on everything and you get to learn a lot of different tools, all of them Adobe, the Adobe world. So it's a lot of fun, a lot to learn, but I don't know, I loved it. I had a great time and I definitely learned a lot that improved my design. So yeah.
Awesome. How many people here are interested in the graphic design program by a raise of hands? Couple. So in that case, I got a couple questions. If anybody here, even if you're not interested in the graphic design program, ask some questions here for the people who are. You might find something interesting in that world.
Even for film, you might be interested because you find yourself having to make posters for your films.
That's true,
So-
absolutely. A lot of these industries interconnect with each other, guys. The film industry will come to graphic designers, make a poster for me, right? Another person will say, hey, I need to get a 3D animation in here. I got to put a robot in my film. A lot of interconnections between all of our programs here. So I'm going to ask you a question. Do we have any questions online?
Not yet.
Okay, so I have some questions here for you guys. Why don't I start here with Vanya? What does the application process look like?
The application is super simple. So usually we have just a call to see who you are, what kind of interests that you have, make sure the program is a great fit for you. If you decided yes, you just need to submit your ID and your transcripts from high school. If you don't have that, we have alternatives like taking an English test. And basically that's it. We're going to analyze your profile and you are in or not, but hopefully you're in.
Cool. Awesome. Any questions for you guys here? Next question I have for you then, Katina, is what kind of softwares and tools do students use in this program?
Well, I mentioned a little bit, we get into a lot of Adobe softwares. So you'll get to do Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, and web design as well. You get to do your own website. When you graduate, you have a full website with 10 of your best pieces to start applying for jobs or market yourself as a freelancer. So you get to do WordPress. You get into marketing as well. So you get a little bit of Google Analytics for ads and how that works. But most of the apps that you'll be using is in the Adobe family. So not so different from each other. It's all Adobe. So once you learn one, you can kind of learn the same from all the other apps. So Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign will be the main things that you'll be using. So yeah.
One question we have here is how do the students get their softwares when joining the program? Do they get it provided or how does that work?
So I don't know if that's a me question or more like an admissions question, but when I was a student, Adobe has a student discount, so you get to apply for the monthly discount for Adobe, and that's how I had my license. So just their usual pricing, but at a discount for students.
Yeah, the school provides 40% discount. So we're gonna get your Adobe. And it's nice because your program is gonna end in 6 months, but you're gonna have the license for 1 year.
And how long is the program and when are the next start dates?
So the program is only 6 months and we're starting right now on March 30th. And the schedule is Monday to Friday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Again, 100% online.
Any questions for you guys here? A little bit off on like for all programs question in this case, but what kind of options do students have to manage tuition and their plan of payments?
So each person has a different scenario. We have people who are available to pay from their savings, so they have money there. If it's not, which is like most cases, we have provincial funding. So all provinces in Canada offer a student aid, which is like loan plus grant. Everyone can apply. We also have band funding. We have nonprofit organizations that support you sometimes with your tuition or with grants for your life expenses. So very often the students get scared because they do not have the funding for their tuition. Don't be scared about that. Most people who start school, they do not have as well, and they have like a list of options for funding. There is a person in the school that is dedicated just to do that with everyone. So.
One question I have here, in relation to that, can students use open source to complete projects given they export in acceptable formats?
Do you know about this?
Like to use different software that's not Adobe? Is that what the
I
question
think
means?
so, yeah.
Yeah?
Like an open source software to complete the assignments that are. designed.
I mean, well, I guess
Canva.
the program is heavily designed to be Adobe because that's what you encounter mostly everywhere. Most design companies use Adobe. Some of them, if they're marketing, I think it's Canva, but most of the time you'll be on Adobe. So you could, like the skills that you learn are very much transferable to any software that you're using because most of the other software that you encounter will have the same tools that you learned with Adobe. It's more about like the skills that you're getting of how to lay out, how to choose fonts, how to put colors that make sense with each other and you don't have a blasting rainbow in your face. But they're very transferable. So yes, you could use different software. Like I myself have started to move out of Adobe to other softwares. But in the program, like Adobe is just what's out there. Just for fun, I've been experimenting with other stuff outside of them, but you can very much use other free software and still do get the same quality work.
Awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much. Any last questions before I move on to the 3D animation program?
I have one.
Yes.
Like the logos we make is a like vector, like is it scalable or?
Oh yeah. 100%. You get to learn all of this stuff. Of course, you get to do the proper thing, which is create a vector. That means like it's a logo that can scale. So you're not the one that's like, give me your logo and you get a PNG or something, Word document. You get to do Illustrator for vector scale. So you do vector for most of your designs. You'll probably do them vector, but mostly logos, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And just for everybody here too, you can talk to Katina about the graphic design program and you talk to Vanya about any program that is happening here at the school. So please feel free to come grab them anytime during the rest of this event. Cool.
Oh,
Thanks, guys.
anything. I'm open to chat.
All right, next I'd like to introduce Magic and Anna. Please come on up. We're going to talk about the 3D animation program. All right, let's start with introducing yourselves. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Anna. I'm one of the admissions advisors here at Infocus Film School. So if you have any questions regarding admissions process, I would just help you with that, as well as finance questions as well. And
Hello, my name is Magic Islami. I'm the lead 3D animation program and also instructor. I've been working here for the last 2 years, more than 2 years. If I should start by saying that I have had more than 20 years of experience doing 3D animation. It's a very interesting industry. I've been in love with it from day one that I started it. The industry in Canada, in Vancouver, generally very good and beautiful, and it's a easy start if you do have knowledge of computers and you have the artistic creativity. You can always start. We do have a great industry in Vancouver. We do have EA, which is a game company. We have Mainframe, we have Animalogic, we have Sony, we have Disney, ILM. Just recently, they won an award. Beautiful stuff for all the artists in this basically field of work. This industry, what we teach covers for three aspects of the industry. One is gaming. One is for movies, and the other one is for commercial advertising and sort of other things that would be applied to. It's definitely something that anyone can learn. It has a little bit of intense start at the beginning, but it is a great sort of hobby to play with, at the same time make money.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Magic. I got my first question for you is what sort of softwares are being used in a program?
We use Maya basically, which is main package at this point, because most likely anywhere you go into Maya is the one that people use. I've seen students or some high schools provide Blender, which is a free program, and they come in with the experience of that. That's great. It helps a lot. If you have knowledge of any other 3D package, it gives you a head start into the program. So there's no problem if you want to switch. It's going to be a bit difficult at first to learn the shortcuts and all, but it is a great sort of experience if you have any other 3D package. But most of the industry right now uses Maya for production of animation.
Thank you so much. Kathleen, is this program suited for beginners?
yes, it is. So even if you don't have any artistic or drawing experience, this basically teaches you from scratch for the animation program. So yes, it is suited just for beginners.
Would you like me to add some stuff?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, it is absolutely easy because we start from scratch, and it doesn't matter even if you do not have any experience in animation. We start from scratch with the non-animatable objects, then we move into a character animation. We show walk cycles, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Once you see the life coming into that creature or to your character or to the object, it's just brings you a lot of happiness.
Does anybody have any questions here? Yes.
I have a question, like this animation we can also, is it just for gaming or like also to create videos, animated videos?
Absolutely. What you learn is the fundamental of animation. Once you learn that, you can actually move into a game company. It depends on what you like to continue. You can move into a game company and basically learn how to develop movements for games. You can walk into a movie companies or basic TV show, whatever it's basically you like to start with and get you going. You know what I mean? I have a lot of graduates which work at ILM, Electronic Art, Mainframe. I've been involved with a lot of studios in Vancouver myself, such as the Mainframe, of course, Bardell Animation, and the last thing that I did was with Synsight, which was a movie, The Addams Family #2. It's great. Well, once you see this, and some right now because of the online ability and the format, you can actually work with different parts of the world, and it's great. You can sit behind your computer and work with a lot of people which think like you and they like what you do. So.
The question for Kathleen.
It's
what-
Anna.
Oh, sorry, Anna. I'm so sorry. It says in here because I mixed you guys up, so I'm reading here and I see. Anna, how long is this program?
Yeah, so the 3D animation program is just 8 months long. It's actually broken down into 3 terms. So each term is about 10 instructional weeks, and then there is a 1-week break as well.
Any other questions here for everybody? Last question for you, Magic. Do students create their own animated short projects?
It's up to the students. If you like to have a story, which is a great opportunity to actually make a little story, we definitely help you to do that. Otherwise, if you are planning to go to, let's say, a game company, you can do exercises which suits the game company as well. So we look to see where in the industry you're aiming for and what you're aiming for. And yes, of course, if you really have that idea, short idea, which is really exciting, we can help you to make your own movie as well.
Awesome. All right, thank you guys so much. Any last questions before we move on to the next one of game design? All right, thank you guys so much. Next
Thank
is
you.
come find these guys anywhere outside. Great. Oh, did we have one more question? Yeah. We have one more question. Do you mind if I do have one last question. I can probably answer this one. For remote students, are classes recorded as classes are 9 to midnight Eastern Standard Time, or does one have to be active in each class? Good question. That depends on the program, kind of thing like that. So the 3D animation intensive program, you're actually given a lot of asynchronistic footage, so you can actually do the actual projects and watch it in your own time. But there is some moments where there is actual physical classes where it's like a Q&A moment where you're actually with somebody getting sort of feedback, right? So you're learning in your own pace, and then you have moments that you get to have Q&A and learn from that part as well. Awesome, great. All right, next I'd like to bring up Corey and this time actually Kathleen. They're going to talk about the game design program. Start by introducing yourselves.
Hi everyone, I'm Kathleen. I'm one of the admissions advisor here at Infocus Film School. So if you have any questions or any concerns about a program, you can come up to me, or whenever you're ready to sign up, call me and I'll be happy to assist you.
Hello, I'm Corey. I'm the game design lead instructor. I've been a game designer for just about a decade now. Our program is really, like any program probably should be, very project focused. It's very practical. The point of that is that the best way to learn is obvious to make stuff, so we make stuff. There is some theory. The theory is generally, my philosophy on theory is theory is a solution, not a foundation. So it's not about like, here's a bunch of stuff that you have to know. It's all about like, hey, you have a process, the process isn't working, let's figure out why. And a lot of times principles apply. People tend to run into the same problems a lot. That's really what theory is. Otherwise, it's really all about making stuff. It's a big focus on what in the industry we call concept to launch. So end to end, from I have nothing all the way to done, polished, feeling good, playing good. We could ship it and be proud. And that's really the best way to learn game development, is to go end to end as much as you can. So that's what we do. That's about it.
Any questions before we get started? I got some questions here, but game design. How many people are interested in learning a bit about game design? Yeah, beautiful. Great, great. I'll start you guys off with some questions, but I want to hear something from you guys. What game engines or development tools do students learn in this program?
Sure. So there's a few to choose from. Unity and Unreal are really the front runners. We use Unreal, latest version of Unreal, always. Unreal has kind of really pulled ahead in the industry lately. And there are a lot of proprietary engines at AAA studios, and most of them are based on Unreal. So for example, EA uses Frostbite, which is, from what I hear from my friends who have worked in EA, Unreal, but worse. But it's very similar. So like if you can't learn Frostbite on your own, that's not allowed. But if you know Unreal, those skills transfer into Frostbite much better than Unity. So for almost any AAA gig that you're going to look for, Unreal is the thing that you want to know. That is the hard skill. And these days, if you're an indie or a solo developer, the tool, Unreal specifically, has become so powerful that there are vanishingly few reasons to choose Unity over it unless you already know Unity. So really, Unreal is the way to go. We always use the latest version, and everything is really built around making sure you understand blueprinting and how to work with the engine really well.
Do you mind if you guys just go a little bit that way? Then perfect. Kathleen, how long is this program?
So the game design program is just for 8 months. It is done online Mondays to Fridays, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. PST. So that will be 9 p.m. to midnight on Eastern time. And it's divided into 3 terms, and you get to learn about everything.
Any questions for you guys here? Yes.
If you ever use like a software like SketchUp or something, do those skills transfer over to Unity fairly easily, or is it like an entirely different kind of thing?
I have no idea about SketchUp, but generally speaking, as you learn an engine, you get better at learning engines. So I've worked in, for example, I worked in a really weird JavaScript engine that was created. I mostly do indie. So I was working on this MMO, and the lead of the project had started the whole thing by creating his own engine. So he had to learn the engine from scratch. And honestly, if I didn't have a background in Unreal and Unity from school and from previous projects, that would have been much more of a nightmare. So I'm not familiar with SketchUp specifically, but in general, if you know engines or something like an engine, even if it's a simple one like GameMaker, those skills tend to transfer forward, yeah.
Got a question from the online. I got 2 questions. I'm going to start with one. But, how much do graduates make after their first gig in the real world?
Well, that really depends. If you decide you want to be a solo dev, very little for a while. But there are the industry is interesting. It's evolved in a lot of ways. AAA is still out there, still doing what it does. Lately, there's been this huge rise of like indies that aren't just solo devs or like a few friends, but indies who secure funding or have some funding from some other source, and they go and they hire these small teams and they start just building a game. So you can look up, there's sites out there that you can look, remote game jobs, work with indies, things like that, where you can see that there's a lot of small indie studios that are hiring. And often those are contract gigs, not entirely full-time. And you can sometimes have a couple of those or get one that you like with a project that you're really interested in and maybe supplement. AAA is the way AAA has always been. They set up, from what I understand, I've never had a friend tell me that their studio isn't taking good care of them when they're in AAA. I know one of my friends in particular who got a little bit annoyed during that height of everyone hates EA. He was like, he was working at EA at the time. He was always talking about like, look, whatever, they take care of me. He was very happy about that. So if you get a gig early, you're doing at least all right. If you want to go into indie, things are obviously going to be a little more sketchy because it's indie. And if you're solo, then it depends. Publish a game and see how it goes.
Question for you, Kathleen. Is this program suited for beginners?
Absolutely. There's no experience required for this program. This program will actually teach you from the start, and at the end of the program, you'll have a video game prototype that you can showcase to your clients and future employers.
Awesome. I got another question from the online group saying, is it good to have a foundation of 3D animation or 3D before going into the game design program?
It's an interesting question because if you're trying to make your own game, generally more skill sets is better. However, because nowadays there are so many really good assets that you can find, even for free, on libraries, in a very short time, and in trying to make a portfolio piece very quickly, which we're trying to do, you generally don't want to be working on your own models. So even if you have that skill set, and it would be valuable in a broader context if you're working on your own games post-grad, for example, then for sure, yes. Then a broad skill set, absolutely. For the program, we really want to showcase design skills. So in trying to really highlight that, taking some of your limited time and spending it on modeling and animation, you can do that. But most of the time, you can grab an asset off the fab marketplace and throw it in and it looks great. So I would recommend doing that instead.
Question for Kathleen here. We kind of talked a little bit about this with another one, but what tuition planning or financial support options are available for this program?
So there's plenty of funding options available. First, if it's applicable to you, we can help you with band funding. There's also government funding available in each provinces where we can help you. We have a dedicated financial planner who will help you step by step on applying for student loans and or grants, depending on which province you reside. We also have interest-free financing programs, interest-free financing plan, where you can pay monthly payments without interest. And you can also pay on your own pocket for full price and get 5% discount.
Any other questions for you guys here for the game design program? Last questions? Yes.
How similar, like, are there, because I know that both game design and like compositing require kind of a knowledge of like coding and stuff like that. Would those skills kind of go back and forth between the two? Could you kind of pick up one if you have skills in the other and stuff and kind of take those back and forth?
Yeah, I think there's, well, scripting is always useful. There's also something, I'll start with scripting. Scripting is very useful. Even if you're a pure game designer, a lot of my work is in documentation, for example, but often it's just you're working through a lot of variables and a lot of factors. Throwing together a prototype is the fastest way to see if something works. So even just for something like that, scripting is great. If you're working as a designer in a studio, generally you are expected to build content also. So you need scripting for that. It's low-level scripting, object-oriented type scripting, so it's nothing like too crazy. As for compositing specifically, I think anything where a really good sense of detail, if you have a really good eye for detail, that's going to serve you really well in game development. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of really subtle things that make a game like work or not work. So if you have anything, compositing would certainly apply. Any background, anything like that, that trains you to have a really strong eye for detail, that for sure at minimum will transfer over. Also, the last part of that is that something that students and junior designers often underestimate is really the importance of visual. It's one of those things where when you want to get into game design, often, at least this was me, and I've heard it from other people as well, you have this idea of like, well, I think the gameplay should be first and foremost. That's the most important thing. And it is important, obviously. But then you go through a process and you start to kind of mature as a designer and you realize, well, you know, when a player sits down and plays a game, like the way it looks and feels is their first impression. So having a good eye for visuals, having an understanding of how someone's going to see something, having an understanding of how they're going to interpret it, even from a visual perspective, very important. So a lot of that will transfer, even if those aren't as core to game design as they might be to something like compositing. Yeah, I think a lot of those skills definitely transfer.
I got one last question, then I'll let you guys go. Will this cover the entire pipeline of modeling, meshing, creating on tech? Oh, this is for the animation program. Oh. This is the wrong program, I think.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
It says
cover any of that.
What about learning large databases for thousands of assets?
Oh, yeah. So, okay. Well, I'll ask you the full question.
Interesting.
Will this cover the entire pipeline from modeling, meshing, creating on textures, animating, and all the rest? And what about learning databases for large games with thousands of assets?
That's interesting. Databases of assets generally are more the purview of a producer or an engineer, depending on what the work is. A game designer's job really has more to do with, depending on the type of designer you are. In AAA, you'll be more specialized. But if you're doing indie and it's a bit broader, you're really covering a lot of ground with what needs to happen. So you'll be like designing a game system or a mechanic, whatever you're working on. And you'll need to say things like, these are the assets that I need. I need these sound effects. This has to happen. I need notifications for this. So this has to have sound effects. There's a music cue here. The animations have to play out like this. It depends on the game. Obviously, a lot there are games where the animations are sort of layered on top as kind of juice, like they just make it look and feel better. But if you have a game like Dark Souls or whatever, like the animation is really part of the design. So it depends on how involved you are in that. But as a game designer, you generally aren't going to be worried about what is the database of the animations, what is the database of the assets, how are they stored, how do we manage that? You're more concerned with how do I make this gameplay experience work? So you might be pulling from that database, but typically you're not going to be managing it. There are some slight caveats to that. So for example, if you're in Unreal, sometimes you have optimization issues and need to deal with stuff like that. But in general, those will be small, like the game is 10 gigabytes, but it's 2 minutes long. Let's figure out how we can delete. There's probably some assets that aren't being used. And in that case, there's a little bit of management of the assets, but it's nothing complicated really. It's mostly just what assets do I need? How do they get applied in the work that I'm doing? And really, that's all you need to worry about.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for giving us some insight in the game design program. And just so you guys know, they'll be around, so pick their brains and everything like that. Kathleen can help you with any program, not just the game design program. Corey, just the game design program.
Sorry.
But in that case too, there's actually some computers next door as well that have games installed on there that were from the previous game programs in that case too. So feel free to go over there. I'm sure you're just going to float around there. Right?
One thing that might be worth noting with that is that 2 of those students have been sending me some updated builds. And I mean, I'll give people feedback if they want. They can do that forever. But those 2 students in particular are approaching publishing now. They're about ready to ship. And that's really exciting. They're going to get their first games on Steam. It's really cool.
So keep an eye on our website. Keep it live on our social media. When that goes live, we got to everybody download their game.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. All right. I do want to bring one last person in this case. The Infocus Film School has been around now for 15 years, actually 16 now, 2026. We started in 2010. I've personally been here now 11 years, and it's very true and important to my heart, this kind of community of creative people. So there is somebody who's been here longer, which is our founder of the school, which I want to just come up and say a couple words. He's more of a shy guy than me nowadays, but feel free to come on up, Steve, and say a couple words. So this is Steve Rosenberg, our founder and chief.
Hello, everybody. I'm Steve. So you're putting me on the spot. Where am I? There's
a T right there behind you. There you
Does
go.
that look good?
Perfect.
All right. So I started the school 16 years ago, and I never really wanted a large school. I wanted something that was small and intimate, where you would know people. You could, if you were in a program, the student to teacher ratio would be very, very small. So if there's one teacher, there's 7, 8 people. And I also believe film, a lot of people, when I went to film school 25 years ago, the whole notion of usually you put 15 people on the team, and then the young men who could use the cameras the best would hog all of that attention. And the rest of the people were sitting around holding booms and not doing the key jobs. And I thought that if we started a school that was more student-centric, where you can't hide from different roles, that you have a holistic approach to education, that would pay dividends, and that people would have a sense that I went to film school and I did a lot of things I didn't want to do because I was forced to do it. But on the other side of it, I can produce a film and I can appreciate art direction, and I can appreciate sound, and I can appreciate camera. Even if I don't want to be a cinematographer, if I want to direct a movie, I need to have an eye that appreciates light. And I've been really blessed with a fantastic staff over the years, and we've expanded to 9 or 10 programs since, and I carry the same approach with all the programs. And also, one last thing is, being in the arts community, someone else's success is part of my success. I don't look and say, oh, I'm so jealous, so-and-so got an Oscar, so-and-so worked on it. I feel that when somebody else achieves something, whether they're at this school or there's still enough spotlight for everybody. And when I work on a film, or when I work with people, it's a nice thing. 10 years later, I don't see them, but I can give them a hug. And that's what's so great about the creative industry. So I don't want to take too much of your time, but I just want to say thank you for coming. And now I've passed the torch to Troy to be the campus director, and I will get off the stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve. We appreciate it. All right, so that closes off our live stream, and for you guys as well. We're still here for a bit. Please feel free to ask everybody any questions you might have. If you guys online have any last questions as well, please feel to shoot them out now. I'll stick around for a little bit longer just in case. And I just want to experience my personal piece of the school as well. I've been here now 11 years. I took this program of the film production program back in 2014, and I never left. Not because they chained me in the basement. No, that was only the first couple of years. But basically after that, I was like so into this school because just the community it brings and just the creative energy. When you walk through these doors and you're sitting in the lunchroom, everybody's coming up with ideas, whether it's like, I have a great game idea. I have a great film idea. I got this really cool animation idea. That's what this school really is about, is bringing different people together with the same mindset. I remember when I first joined the school, I just didn't really have that many friends who wanted to make film or make content. They want to go out and go drinking. They wanted to go out and have fun. I was like, let's work on a project together. Let's make something really cool. Let's get excited to come into work every day, kind of thing like that. And that's why when I joined the school, and I never left, because that never changed, and it never will change at this school. That's what we're all about here, right? So thank you guys so much. Everybody over here as well. I'll let you guys go and mingle, chat with everybody else and stuff like that. Play some of the games. Even if you're, in the film program, play some games. And if you're going for the game program, take a look at the cinematography stuff going on next door. Get to know each other as well. We're a tight-knit community of artists and stuff like that. Get to know everybody. Cool. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Any last questions for you guys as well? Thank you guys. You don't need to clap. You're good. So much for joining us as well. We're in Vancouver on Seymour Street. If you guys do have a chance to come to our campus, even for future open houses, I highly recommend to feel the space. But hopefully this was a good introduction to seeing a little bit into our programs. So thank you guys so much, and enjoy the rest of your evening.